I have a Suzuki Sidekick with a ragtop. You know what I mean? And this is not a good car to begin with.
Were you also a hairdresser at this point?
That's what I was in college for.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to grow up in the 80s? NES sitcoms and where's the beef ladies? Then you need to listen in your car or at work. Now it's time for Keith is a Jerk.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Keith is a Jerk. I am Keith, and I'm joined by my co-host, Ryan. What are you saying, Ryan?
Y'all are going to make me lose my mind. Up in here. Up in here. That's some DMX for you right there.
That's true. Well, he's really going to appreciate the residual check on that one. We got Bob tonight. What are you saying, Bob? There it is. So tonight we're going to talk about, what are we calling this? First apartments?
First apartments, shitty apartments.
Just, those crappy years after, going to college, before college, instead of college.
What if we're still living in that place? Right. Keith, is that...
Ryan's on the wait list at DeVry. So, fingers crossed, everybody. Oh my God. Yeah, honestly, this is the kind of thing I don't like to think about these things because it just makes me so angry from being this poor.
Yeah.
You know, like,
of course.
Right? Like, that's for the longest time. So, my first apartment, I'll get to the story, but I went to school at Sheridan, so it was in Oakville. And now if I have to drive anywhere and I drive through Oakville, my fucking knuckles get white. Like, I am angry driving through the city. Like, I hate that place. And it is a beautiful place. It is gorgeous.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I got offered a teaching job at the school after as an animator. So I should be over this. That should have been like,
Too many triggers, eh? Too many triggers.
You made it. You're there, man. Like, they wanted you to... No, not enough. No, I wanted to punch him in his face when he offered me a job.
Why were you so angry?
It's just so poor. So poor. Right. You know, like, I've never been... Like, I grew up poor, and I was like, oh my God, no, I had so much more money. Like, there was at least beans in my cupboard, you know?
Right.
Or old cigarette butts I could eat. Like, there's just nothing in this place.
No, college and post-college poor was the type of poor where you had to, like, put $3 in toonies and loonies into an ATM machine so you could take 20 out.
Right.
Like, you had to bring the balance from 17. Anybody else? Anybody else do that? Just me? Okay. Good.
Just you on that one. But I mean, just to segue, that is where I was the doorman. That's where I took the stripper club job.
Yeah.
Just because I was that desperate for money.
Right.
Bob, what about you? Give us your first one.
Well, as I'm sitting here sweating over, like, the circumstances of...
Right?
You know, thinking about all the places that I've lived and, like, the circumstances of me leaving those places that I've lived... You know, it's like
not always of your own will.
It sounds like you weren't in charge of a lot of those decisions.
Yeah, it's a funny thing to think about because you start to realize that you're a complete asshole.
Well, sometimes you think I should move out, and sometimes someone else thinks, hey, you should move out.
Yeah, right. And then they're the assholes. So there's no rainbow ending.
No, that's true.
I think the first time that I moved out was it was residence.
Okay,
so I was at school, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the next year where me and two buddies, we got a place that was way too far off campus.
Right.
For me to get there. And it was a basement apartment. There was 3 of us sharing. There was one bedroom that had like a divider that, like, you would just pull across, like a temporary slider divider.
Exactly what you mean. Yeah.
And I shared a room with a dude. We slept on opposite sides of the room, and he was a very religious dude. I remember this. And then my other friend, who I was good friends with, he slept on. They had like a kitchen. You went down like 4 steps or whatever. A little kitchen. The shower was right next to the stove. I am not lying as I think about this. I've blocked this out. The shower was right next to the stove. The shitter was, I think it was a separate room. That you could actually close the door. But then there was a little other tiny room down that hallway, and wasn't even a room. Like, it went nowhere. It was probably like storage, and the people who lived upstairs, they had a huge, like, it was almost like a sewing table. You know what I mean? This thing, picture a sweatshop, like the
I was
type
say,
of.
did you move into a sweatshop?
I
That's
think
what it
so.
sounds
Yeah.
like.
And he slept.
Did
on,
a lot of people say "Giddy Mao" at you?
and he slept on that for I think 8 months. And I remember he would bring girls home, and I'd be like, "Are you bringing them to the sewing table?" It was amazing. It was so
I'm gonna
great.
stitch her up. Oh my god!
Yeah,
every girl gets something embroidered on her shirt before she goes.
I don't even know.
out.
Like, I mean, you had to physically jump onto this table. Like, it was kind of like. It was almost like a bunk bed. Like, it was amazing. Can you imagine the circumstances around being a 20-year-old, like,
Oh, that's great.
infant, pretty much, and bringing a girl home from the bar with, like, 2 guys sleeping in a room with a divider, like, no more than 8 feet away from you, and you're bringing the girl home
Amazing.
onto a sewing table.
Who's pretty much basically operating on very, very simple motor skills as it is, and then trying to get up on top of this fucking thing must have been beautiful.
Wait, you're saying the girl's operating them?
yes, and so
Saying
are you,
like
'cause you're
she's
drunk.
handicapped?
No, fuck.
Because she's drunk. Oh, okay.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I don't know. It just that's not usually the term. I guess. Yeah. All right. Motor skills, fine. I thought you were implying. Like, I was like, do you know this guy? That's a weird story. That's a story you should be telling.
Well, needless to say, like, shower time the next morning was always a bit of a weird, hey, how's it going, everybody?
Well, yeah, because someone's cooking eggs right next to you. Well, you can feel the bacon grease hitting you in the shower.
Yeah, that wasn't bacon grease.
Yeah. So my first place was a similar thing, going off to college. And God bless him. My best friend growing up, my buddy Chris and I, he had a full scholarship. He's a crazy good soccer player, right? He's one of these guys, just everything, right? Mm-hmm. Really good looking, super nice, crazy athletic. And on top of that is like, we'll just do anything for you. Like, is like, you're like, hey, everybody should want to hate this guy, but you can't.
Yep.
Anyway, hands down my best friend, all growing up. He ended up blowing out, I think it was his Achilles heel when he was playing soccer. So unfortunately, that kind of ended that. Yeah, it really sucked.
That's a bad one.
That was really bad for him. And I mean, it's one of those things, like, I mean, he's fucking, I mean, even he said, like, he didn't think he was going to go pro, but I mean, it was a nice full scholarship ride, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
So I think he got to finish out his year at his school. He was playing in the States. And so the best part about it, this is what makes this guy so fucking great. He's coming back to school, and I'd taken a year off to save up for college. And he's like, well, where are you going? I'm like, oh, I got into Sheridan. He's like, oh, fuck, amazing. I'll go there too. And I was like,
wow.
Like, do they offer your thing? He was like, I'll just play soccer. It's fine. You know what I mean? Like, he'll still just...
I'll just show up the first day. I mean, whatever happens,
Pretty much
happens.
it. And he was like, yeah, cool. Yeah, I'm in. And I was like, I mean, you can't hate this guy. It's just...
Jesus Christ.
He's not doing it like a mean thing or an arrogant thing either.
No,
I
I thought I put very little thought into where I went to school. That's incredible.
Well, he's just doing it because we're that good of friends. Like,
Okay.
we've known each other literally since kindergarten, right? Like, so this was our dream growing up. Like, yeah, we're gonna get a place.
I'm very good friends with you. I won't take a fucking cooking class with you, man. I'm just kidding. We should totally take a cooking class. I think it would be great.
So I'm in. Anyway, so we're getting ready. We're gonna go to the school, and we need to find a place because his place is a disaster.
Is this in Oakville that you're?
This is in Oakville.
Okay, yep.
And so the thing about Oakville is very expensive.
Yeah.
Like, it's really pricey. And we found a place that I think was like, $600 or $700 a month. But it was a bachelor place. But because we were best friends, we're like, yeah, that's fine. Like, we didn't even have the divider. We're good. Like, we don't need it. I'm like, honestly, like, we're such good friends that if he's like, I'm going to go jerk off, I'll be like, yeah, cool, I'll roll over. You know what I mean? Like, you're good. It was kind of Charlie and, Danny DeVito there on It's Always Sunny. Yeah, kind of. We had our own beds.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nightworms.
So we're getting all packed up. We get in. We move all our shit in. We're so excited. You know what I mean? And the guy that we're renting from, this young couple, they're probably 25, 26. They've got their own place. And this is right on the water. Like, like down from the water. It's a big sailing community. That shows you how rich this fucking place is. And he's a super nice guy. You know, like he just wants to be friends.
Yep.
He sees the athlete and he's like, oh my God, I want to be friends with this guy. And I guess the toad can come, you know? And so he's like, hey, do you guys like football? Sundays and we're like, yeah, cool. Like, you know, not really, but it's weird. You know, we don't know. But he's doing everything. He's like, I got these imported beers. And he's like, he just wants to be friends with us so bad.
Right.
And his wife is smoking hot. And so... yeah, it doesn't go quite where you're thinking, but it's a.
Well, no, I know you're telling the
I
story.
don't know where you're going, but I'm in. I love all the elements that are in play.
So we get into our apartment, and that's like we've moved in at this point, but it was like the next day. I think we'd met her first,
Okay.
and then he came by to introduce himself and shit, if I remember correctly. Anyway. That night, we just get on the Top Gun, and, you know, it's kind of, I don't know who brings it up, but one of us, and again, we've known each other so long that it doesn't take much to get the ball rolling, where it's like, yeah, she's pretty hot, right? We're like, yeah, like, she's real hot, you know? And so then we start imagining, right? Like, hey, what if we do that? You know, because he's so nice to us. We go over and we watch football. You go in the back with her. I'll go in the back. Because she's very flirty and shit, right? So, now, admittedly, this is never going to happen. We're not going to do this. We're not assholes. We're just two 19-year-old kids goofing around.
Right.
Saying stupid, goofy shit our first night in our first new apartment. So, the next morning... We both wake up, and I think we've moved in like a week before school to, you know, get the late. I shit you not. The next thing that we hear when we both wake up, he's like, hey, you want some breakfast? I'm like, yeah, I'll have some. And I hear, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess we can go out. And Chris looks at me and goes, is that them? And I'm like, he's like, did we know these walls were this thin?
Oh, like, yeah, right.
They're barely speaking above a whisper.
Yeah.
And we're hearing their whole conversation. And right away, we're both like, oh my God. And sure enough, it's Sunday.
Yeah.
Football day. And we're both just heading out. And we're like, hey, I don't know, fucking John. You know, I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
And we're like, hey, you watching the football game today? He's like, no. Slams his door shut and goes inside. And we're like, well, we're here for a year. This will be a fun couple days.
You blew it.
She was still really cool with us, so I don't know, take that to what you want.
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah, we were assholes. There's no doubt about it.
That's
So
amazing.
it was a good time, but it was fucking incredible. Honestly, that was like it was a great experience. I loved it. But yeah, I mean, I just had no money. Like the start to that story is the day before I'm leaving for college. My shitty brother that I've mentioned a bunch of times steals all of my college money that I've saved. I had like $1,800 like of like my money that I needed for books and, you know, or not books, but more like the paper and stuff for my animation supplies.
Yeah.
And just food. You know, I thought it'd be cool to eat while I was away. And he just took it all.
That's amazing.
Fuck.
Yeah, good times. So yeah. So anyway, it was the start of the shitness.
Clearly, you've learned
Sorry.
clearly you've learned to keep your voice down. Since
Now the thing now is just tag everything with a joke, and then I can always fall back on that.
Yeah.
right.
I'd be like, oh, you know, you heard it. I was just kidding. I said just kidding at the end. We're not gonna make you watch. That's so rude. Just kidding. Just kidding. What else, Ryan? What do you got?
I had to look for a place not too long ago. I'm not going to go to the first one. I'll go a little bit more recent. And
That's what makes this story so great.
yeah, because this, and I live in Barrie, if you haven't heard us mention that before. It's outside of Toronto. There's a real division between the nice shit and the shit holes.
Yeah, that's
here in Barrie. And Bob, you actually looked for a place not too long ago too. You can attest to this.
Yeah.
A lot of them are the same fucking price. So you don't know
you
what
don't
you're
know
getting
what's good
into.
and what's
So
bad.
I went to this one. It was in an apartment building. They only really showed the view from the balcony and had this lovely view of the water. And I'm like, oh man! So I go and I meet with the building manager. She's very nice. We sit down. We have a chat. Too long. You know, you ever meet with a landlord for too long? She's telling me too much about.
Yeah, they'll ask you if you want to come watch football on Sundays and talk about how their wife will make us up some snacks.
So after about honestly 20 minutes,
Look her up. See if she's on Facebook.
she takes me upstairs and she's like, the owners may be there, which I hate. I've seen a lot of apartments and I hate it when they're fucking there, but I'm like, all right, whatever.
Right.
Yeah. She's like, she knows we're coming. So, you know, the place has probably been, you know, picked up nicely and, you know, she won't be in our way or anything. I'm like, all right, cool. So we go in there. She knocks on the landlord knocks on the door. And she's like, hello. She's like, oh, this is strange. She's supposed to be home. Knocks again. And she's like, well, I told her she's coming, and she told her we're coming, and she agreed to it. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to take you in. I've got another showing in like 10 minutes. I'm like, yeah, and I want to see this place. So she opens the door, and immediately just this smell. It just smells like sin.
Oh,
just
no.
sinning.
Yeah. And
she goes, the landlady, she's like, oh, I'm sorry. It smells like they've smoked in here. And I'm like, they have at least smoked in here.
Yeah, right.
That is the least of which. And like, we walk in and there's fucking everything in there is an ashtray, man.
Okay.
Like, and there's bottles upon bottles upon bottles.
I thought you were going to walk in on them boning. I thought that's the story.
You'll shut the fuck up.
Sorry.
So, in the bathroom mirror is smashed.
Wow.
Clearly from another bottle. Like, so some shit's gone down. And yeah, she goes to the bedroom to go, and then she opens the door, and it's a pretty good size, and slams the door immediately. She's like, oh my. And I'm like, no. And I just hear in the back, sorry. And I'm like, this is amazing. And like the landlord, the landlord is, kind of older, and she's like kind of, very shy. She's like, she fucking appalled. She's turning beet red.
Right.
And then, the girl comes out a couple of seconds later, like all, disheveled and, she's like, I'm sorry. Yeah, basically. They have a conversation. She's like, I told you I was coming at 2. She's like, I'm sorry, I lost track.
Yeah, so was I.
Yeah.
These don't sound like the kind of people that 2 p.m. is like a regular time they see.
Yeah, they're rolling out of bed at that point. And then the guy comes out like 30 seconds later, like tucking his shirt in and like sweating fucking profusely.
At least he's wearing a shirt.
Yeah. It could have been her blouse that he just fucking threw on for all I know. So then
why bother coming out? Like, she's gone.
I know. Well, they clearly. I'm like, I don't need to see the room. I'm not taking the fucking apartment at this point. People
you can tell they've been together for a while because he's still wearing his shirt.
That never came up.
The shitty part is this woman. She then opens the door and like goes into like this literally fucking hot room from the sex. I'm like, I'm good.
I wish you'd gone into the room and the guy just laid under the blankets and was like, well, over there, it's pretty spacious. Or no blankets, and it's just like sundialing up, you know what I mean?
Totally unapologetic.
He's like, oh, he looks down at his sundial. It is 2 p.m. My bad.
And then the lady takes me in the hall. She's like, so what do you think? And I start laughing. I'm like, I'm clearly not taking that.
What do you think?
She just made one more pitch. No, it's a $1,700 to start, but that's inclusive. I'm like, I'm not taking the.
So what do you think? Be like, well, I don't know. I mean,
I think she can do better. I think she can do better. I mean,
I'll have what he's having.
But just to show you how poor we were, I don't think I've talked about this before. Do you guys remember when Mad Cow happened? I think it was in the UK. Some farmers were feeding basically cows back to cows, right?
Yeah.
And so they ate the brains, and it fucks the cows up. Like, it makes them go mad.
Probably happened to humans too, if you really think about it.
It did happen to humans. Like, you could get, if you ate that meat, you got it too. Like,
That's
it was closest to zombies we've had so far. So anyway, it went like crazy. And of course, everybody goes red meat. Scared, right? Like, nobody wants to eat red meat. So, being poor and in college, McDonald's decides, well, we can't have, we're not going to lose our supplies. Knock on wood, take your chances. 50 cents Big Macs, everybody. Literally, Big Macs were going to be 50 cents for 2 days.
Right.
So, Chris and I are like, we've got like $35. We need to buy as many Big Macs as they will let us carry out of there. So we spent all our money on it. We loaded up in the freezer as many Big Macs. And we just ate a whole bunch because we probably hadn't really eaten much from the couple days before. And so anyway, we ate Big Macs for like the next...
just defrosted nicely. I'm sure it was wonderful.
Here's the thing. Super Size Me, all that. Very on point. Didn't taste bad.
No, I'm sure.
We kept eating the Big Macs, and we're like the first day we took it out and do that little like deep breath before it comes, like you hear the beep in the microwave, both like, whew.
Yeah, this is how you know poor kids.
Right. Yes. And so then we're like, not that different. The funniest part about that story was by the time we got down to about 8 left, my buddy's mom comes over to visit to check out the place. And she's like, oh, this is a really nice place, guys. Like, she's very proud of us. You know,
Yep.
It looks like a place. And she opens a freezer and she's like, what the... And she's like, is this what you got? And we're like, yes, ma'am. We don't have any money. She's like, so every weekend after I would go back to play music still, that was my only income, was to play on the weekends, so that his mom would just load us up with boxes of amazing home-cooked food. So after that, at least our food was covered.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good.
Do you guys have any stories of like moving out of places, like, and the circumstances around those?
Well,
All right. So,
please.
I think the worst one that I have is I was in
Walk us through the eviction process.
First of all,
well-
I love that there's enough that there's a hierarchy of best to worst.
I know it's the worst. So I'm, as every one of these stories is gonna start. So I'm dating this girl, and it's going horribly. And it's a pretty nice condo. I think we're the first people who have ever lived in it.
Beautiful.
And so we move in. Not long after, 2 or 3 months, we realize we cannot stand each other.
I'll be 100% honest. I'm going to let you finish, but I was really hoping you were going to say, so we're having this sex. It's about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This lady brings this guy in. Sorry, continue. So you can't stand
This
each other.
curly-haired yuppie comes in to look at our fucking apartment.
So now we're sleeping in separate rooms, which is
boy.
amazing.
Oh, dear.
Oh yeah, it's going going down.
You
So
signed
now,
on, right? What'd you sign? Like a 6 month, a year?
You know what? I didn't sign anything. That's the thing, or whatever. So
But
now.
she did.
Yeah. So now, I'm.
I love that you're trying to get evicted, and this is when you're trying to get your shit together.
Oh, I'm not trying to get evicted. I'm planning my own eviction.
Okay.
Right.
Exit strategy, if you will.
So I'm sitting there, and I know I can tell it's Friday morning, and I'm just like, oh my God, it's not going so well. And so I call up my buddy, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And he says, we need to get you out of there immediately.
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy shit, I didn't really think that was a possibility. Yes,
Right.
let's do this, right? Yeah. So Friday night, I go home. I don't remember. I think I saw her. I know that she had plans on Saturday,
Right.
Okay.
but I also had plans for my Saturday. So literally I think my buddy was waiting around the corner. And as soon as she left, he pulls
children.
up with a trailer, and we start, like, that night I had been packing up my stuff. I shut the door, and I had just been packing my stuff, and nobody bothered me and the whole thing. So, like, literally, had she opened up the door, she would have seen all my items were packed up. Like, everything was ready to go. Down the stairs, I even actually got my dad and my brother to be in on this, and they were not happy about being part of this. Like, my dad is he's a rock, you know what I mean?
accessories.
Total
Yeah, your dad's
stand-up guy.
amazing. Yeah.
Total stand-up guy, and he's like, I think that was the day. He's like, I don't know if you're my son.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Well, I think that was an internal discussion with him. He never really told me. So, but so we load everything downstairs, and we're onto the truck. And I left the key under the mat, and I just pieced out. Like literally nothing there. Right. I get home, and by the time that I got home, she's like, I was hoping you would do this. And I'm like, you were not hoping that I would do this. You're putting on a brave front. You're killed right now, and I know it, right? But and then
I don't know why this relationship was so toxic.
So then, as things go or whatever, she probably hung up, and I'm loading everything into I'm loading everything into my parents' house with my tail between my legs. So I'm loading everything in because I have no plan to go anywhere else,
No,
right?
right, yeah.
So I'm loading everything in, and I realize.
That's a bonus gift to your dad,
So,
eh?
here-
Finds out my
here's-
son's not a man, and I've got to fucking bring him back home.
Here's the kicker. is that I'm loading
you forget?
everything in, and I'm almost done loading the whole thing, and I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
I can't find my wallet.
Because there's a lot of shit in that situation that I'm willing to walk away from. You know?
It wasn't my wallet at that point, so I call her back.
Hey, you.
Hey,
What are you up to?
long time no talk. Any chance you've seen my wallet? And she's just like, fuck you. And hangs up.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, that's deserved.
Within
Within 5 minutes, I find my wallet, and all is happy. All is happy. I didn't even need to make the phone call, but it was just an amazing kicker at the end. And
That was a little karmic retribution right there.
She at least got to give you a fuck you.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
here's the kicker on her end. She spent the rest of the day trying to find your wallet so that she could just ruin it. You know what I mean? Or run up your credit. So she kind of
Like, I
did
know
get a
his
shitty
PIN
deal
number.
there,
I know
too.
his fucking PIN number.
Right,
I gotta find
right.
that wallet, man.
Holy Christ.
Oh, wow, that's glorious.
yeah, it was one of those that you try to forget.
Right.
You know, that seems like a different. That was a different me ago. But
Yeah,
then
look,
now
that's-
that I think about it, I'm like, well, is it? Yeah. Yes. It is.
We'll wait for the Nikki's podcast to find out.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing that Chris used to do at that apartment, good looking dude, and like I said, and so he would go. I remember because I was so busy, like this school was fucking crazy for its workload, right? Like you're drawing 14 hours a day, and then you go home, you try to get some sleep, and that's that, right?
That must be exhausting.
After your homework. Well, it doesn't sound like it, but try it. Anyway. So Chris is just fucking there to play soccer. So you know he's sailing through, and he's just
The soccer sounds exhausting. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sure look, his output is we're not in the same. That's like asking a peanut to race against
Something with legs.
what's the fast guy there? That shows how far out of this. I'm clearly the peanut here. Anyway, my favorite thing that he would do is.
I'm still basking in the analogy.
Hold on one second. Yeah. How did you do an analogies class?
It was right after my dreams class. It wasn't great.
So I've drawn the peanut.
Oh, boy.
And then here's the fast black man. So it'll be 2 a.m. I'm asleep, and I would hear.
We're literally too poor to afford analogies. My God, man.
They escape me. Oh my God, I'm white knuckled now just thinking about this place.
Too poor for analogies.
I wish that was a class. I gotta look it up.
That concept is so funny to me.
Would you say this class is as hard as
Peanut. Peanut.
You could have just gone with Mr. Peanut. He's got legs, for fuck's sakes. A stationary peanut and a Mr. Peanut. One is way faster.
Oh my lord.
Damn it, I don't like when it's funny because I can't edit it out now. So anyway, my favorite thing that used to happen.
I'm sweating my ass off right now. Wow, that fucking killed me.
I'd be trying to get some sleep, and I'd hear, Keith gotta wake up. And I'm like, oh shit, what's wrong, buddy? And Chris would come home from the bar, and he's like, I got these 2 girls, you gotta sing for them. I was like, what? And he's like, just play a song. Here, I got your guitar already. And he's like, just putting my guitar on me while I'm sleeping. I'm like, what? He's like, you gotta just close it for me. Close it.
If Keith is playing music, I'm up.
That's what it was like. I was like, okay, saying I love. And I'll be like, I guess, what are we doing? Can I go? Oh, none of them are for me. Good night, guys. Put my guitar down. I'll roll over. Yeah, I was the peanut in that story.
Comparing the amount of ass that he got that you didn't get, that'd be like comparing a peanut. Lord Thunder and Jesus.
Ryan, you've had plenty of shitty apartments. I've been to them.
Mainly, yeah. I was on a string. I think I had a new one every year for like, I'm not joking, 8-9 years.
Wow.
I was going like 1 year lease. Sometimes I would get out of the lease beforehand.
Yeah.
For various reasons.
Yeah, like a Friday night.
Yeah. But, yeah, I don't think I've ever been evicted. And I don't think I've ever disappeared in the middle of the night.
I think that guy tried. After he's like, I think he probably went to the lawyer and was like, look, you can't kick them out because they want to fuck your wife. How good looking. He's like, well, not the peanut, but the other kid. It's a goddamn stud. He's going to do it. There was a lot of tension between those two. I'm not sure that they made it through by the time we left, to be honest.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I don't know if that was just on us, but it probably didn't help.
I don't think so.
What else? No, it definitely didn't.
My first roommate, I've lived alone most of my life. I don't like living with people. But my first roommate was kind of, I went away to school, I stayed home for school, so I didn't get the res experience. I got the res experience when I was an adult, living on that fucking horse island I've told you about.
Yeah.
And I don't know, forgive me, I might have told this one on the podcast before. Maybe it's the one we didn't use. But I move in the first day, and I've literally just got a fucking backpack, and it's very university res, but shittier. Like really, like walking down the hall, like, oh great, this is where I'm gonna live for the next 2-3 months. Awesome.
Right.
So I look at the door, look at the number. This is where I'm supposed to be. There's this hand drawn sign on it, and it's in that shitty kind of high school art that the skid kids and the goth kids would do on their notebooks.
Heavy metal style.
Exactly, and it's
blood coming from the six.
It's like a gun shooting other guns. That's a Simpsons joke. I should cut that out. But it says Fisco's room. And I'm like, what the fuck?
Fisco or Fisto?
Fisco.
Oh,
and
thank God.
Let me get into this more. So
Fisto, I'm not going inside.
I have to. I fucking live here. So I go in there, and he seems, actually okay at first. We're talking. And
He's written Fisco's room on his own room?
Yeah. And I'm like, I got to say, man, what's up
Was
with
it
the
on
sign?
the door
He's like,
or on paper?
On paper, like what's posted there with like masking tape.
Okay.
Does anyone else have a sign?
No.
Just Fisco.
Just Fisco.
Okay.
And I go in, we talk for a second, and I'm like, what's up with Fisco? Is that your nickname or whatever? And he's like, oh, we should probably get this out of the way.
Uh-oh.
Takes starts unbuttoning his shirt, which is immediately disconcerting for a
Puts a
person.
mouth guard in.
No, I got the mouth guard, Keith.
Turns out his pocket.
Yeah.
I grab yours, you grab mine. Let's do this.
He starts unbuttoning his shirt. He's like, all right, so one night I had too many drinks in me, and I went to tattoo Psycho on my own chest, and I fucking spelt it wrong, and it's Fisco. So it was like it was Physco, Fisco. And to his credit,
yeah, at that point, that's on the artist.
He was totally cool about it. He laughed about it. He knew how dumb it was.
No, this is what he's saying, Bob. He did it to himself.
He did it to himself, yeah.
He tried to tattoo himself.
So, to his credit, he's probably doing it upside down and in a mirror, so anything can happen. I guess.
Right.
But he laughed about it
Well,
constantly.
he embraced it. Yeah, he put it on the
He
door.
owned it, he put it on the door, and that was his...
It'd be amazing if on the door it said Psycho's room.
and just nailed it this
He
time.
got it right that time.
Yeah, at least that would make sense.
Although, to be honest, I'm less scared of a guy who has Fisco on his chest.
I'm scared of a
way
guy
more
who's
terrified-
tattooing himself.
But if it
Terrified.
says Psycho across his chest that he did himself, I'm not staying.
Yeah, right.
I had no choice. But he actually turned out to be such a sweet guy. This makes me sad talking about like that. This is one I did leave suddenly. I just had enough of this stupid horse island. I'm like, fuck it, take me home. So I went to say goodbye to him. I go to the door, and he's made me a sign. It says Ryan's room, and he does this own like more of the art and stuff like that. And I'm like, aw, he made me a sign. It's spelled correctly.
How old is he?
He would have my
Too
age.
old to make this, though?
Wait.
Yeah.
It was 27, 28, or quite the first impression.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no wonder why you don't like living with people.
Yeah, that's the
Do
precedent.
it. That and horses. Ange and I had this funny place. It was a fucking great apartment. Super cheap. But there was a family living upstairs, and they he had a shit ton of like acreage behind them. Like we could just do whatever we
Was
want.
this a basement?
It was basement apartment,
Fine.
yeah.
I did a basement once.
I loved it. I
Continue.
prefer it because I also worked nights at the time.
Right.
So it was great because it was dark during the day, so I could actually sleep. Here's what they didn't really tell us when we moved in. So they had 3 kids. We knew that. Mm-hmm. And but I just wake up. I think I woke up the first Saturday. Mm-hmm. You know, go open my door. I'm like, is the TV on? I go, the kids are just sitting in our apartment just watching TV.
That's pretty great.
It was pretty awesome, actually. And the worst part is they're really good kids. So Ange and I were like, oh, hey, guys. Like, you know, I didn't want to be a dick. I was like, hey, there's kids, right?
Yeah.
The
And
parents
Xavier's
clearly
like,
didn't-
Dad, it's us.
These are not our kids. These poor bastards. They just starve for attention, and we were nice to them. You know what I mean? Like their parents were not. Mm-hmm. A lot of yelly stuff going on upstairs.
Right.
It just screaming. So Angie was always like we're both like we had that moment of like,
Legitimately don't know what the fuck to do.
both of us are just like, is this fine with you? And it's
Yeah.
like, I guess I don't really care. Like, you know, they're just fucking. I was like, you guys want cereal? And they're like, oh wow, yeah, that'd be great. So I just made some fucking kids some cereal while they watch cartoons in my living room.
That's
That
pretty,
went
that's
on
pretty
for,
great.
yeah, about a year and a half. They're really good
I was
kids.
gonna say, did this
I like
become
those
a
kids.
regular Saturday thing?
Oh, it came every day.
Yeah.
They literally, like, we would get home from work and they would be excited to see us and just come downstairs and tell us all about their day and what they were doing. We didn't have kids back then either, right? And I think we were just married, so we were excited about it and stuff. I think Angie was gonna have. I think that's when she was pregnant with Xavier when we were in that apartment. So I mean, clearly we were ready to have kids, and these were good kids. If they were shit kids, we might have found a way to politely told. But anyway, yeah, it was good. I really didn't have bad apartment experiences.
I just had a flash. I totally forgot this happened. My very first apartment. Again, I moved in with no money. I'm sure you guys did too. Like first, last.
That was always a struggle.
An enormous dip out of my bank account, and I'm left with just fucking petty cash left. So the first day, I've never lived alone before. You don't realize how much money you have to spend.
Right.
I walk in there, I'm like, I literally don't have a fucking shower curtain right now.
Right.
Shit. And I think I was going out that night or something like that, and I'm like, I got a shower. I'm taking a fucking shower, and I've like, you know, and I'll try and keep the splash to a minimum.
Right.
So I've made this mistake once. I took a shower with no shower curtain, and I made the biggest fucking mess of this apartment. And I could have, I had no idea how much water would splash off. And it was a long one, too. I don't know why. I didn't.
Why did you pick the day to take the longest shower without a shower?
It was a moving day. Come on now. And I've flooded pretty much this bathroom floor.
Jesus Christ! First
And then I
day.
go into the other room and I toweled it up and threw the towel in the.
He doesn't have a towel.
I had a towel, and that was probably actually a pair of jeans.
Drying it with underwear.
It was a pair of jeans.
I found a towel.
Yeah. And then I'm getting dressed, and 10 minutes later, I hear on my door.
Oh no.
And I'm like, oh,
And you're
fuck.
above them, I assume.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's the guy, and he's older, and he's cranky, and I can just tell this guy can punch the fuck out of me. And he's like, hey, I'm like, I'm your downstairs neighbor. And I'm like, yeah? Trying to play dumb. He's like, I don't know what you did, but I got water all over my fucking, my bedroom. That's
Yeah.
even worse. My bathroom is above his bedroom. And I'm like, I don't know what happened, man.
Wow, me too.
I'm playing so dumb.
Oh, I was just gonna go up to the guy above us. Let's beat him up together.
And he's like, can I just look at your bathroom? Thank God I cleaned up the bathroom and wiped everything
Amazing.
down. There's no sign that I took a shower in there. He's like, it's fucking sink or toilet or something's leaking, man. He's like, I don't know, I got water all over the place. I'm like, that sucks. He's like, he's like, the last guy who moved in here took a fucking shower without a shower curtain, and I had the same problem. And I'm like, that idiot? No. My hair's wet right now from jogging, honestly.
Oh, that's
fuck.
fantastic.
I started sweating again. I needed another shower after that.
Oh, that's so
No, he had no
great.
idea.
Oh.
How old were you guys when you moved out? Because I was at the very last mathematical day. Because my parents literally sold my childhood home, and they're like, you gotta go. I was 22, 23. I'd already gone through college, stayed home for that. They're like, oh, great. Yeah. You got accepted by Fanshawe, too, Ryan. That's out of town. Have you thought about it? I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm going to stay home, And yeah, they sold the house, and that was it. They're like, you have to
I
leave.
love the idea that your parents didn't want to move. They're like, this is the only way we can get this fucking
That was
kid out
their
of here.
exit strategy.
Right?
I
This
kind of
fucking
went.
peanut.
I went back and forth. Not too much. A couple times I moved back.
I bounced
in.
back, yeah. I've rebounded
Just
back
when I
in a
moved.
couple-
Just
yeah,
when I
I
moved
just
out
did-
in the middle of the night.
Right. I just did the time. Oh, okay. So I guess this sort of counts. Like eventually, like Ange and I, when we started dating, her parents were cool if I lived there, right? Like, because they saw my house. And so they're like, oh my God, yes, you have to move in. But they're very clear. Like, look,
there's these feral street children just watching television.
Their roof. Be respectful. And we were. I was like, okay, I'm not going to be an ass. So I had to sleep on this little day bed that Angie had. It wasn't so bad. I didn't mind it. It was comfortable.
Okay.
My problem was it was the squeakiest bed in the world.
Oh, fuck.
So every time I move, I hear and I'm like, wait, I don't want her parents thinking that I'm having sex with their daughter when I'm just trying to fucking roll over in the middle of the night. Mm-hmm. So that was fun, just sleeping in one position and not moving.
Coffin style with your arms folded on your chest.
The amount of times I just put a blanket on the ground and just laid on the ground, which was, you know what I mean, like home.
Yep.
So I was like...
Oh, they had to have known.
Well, I mean, look, that's the worst part.
They gave you that bed on purpose.
No,
for that
they had to have
very
known the
reason.
bed was so squeaky. Like,
Yeah.
that's an incredible move.
That was great.
It was
birth
a really
control.
smart
They were
move. Yeah,
not in a hurry for
that's
grandkids.
That's a detective. That's what her dad was, a detective, and that's what, yeah, you can stay here. There's your bed. So he's listening for squeaks because he's like, if I don't hear squeaks, motherfucker.
He took the springs out and soaked them in water for a week before you moved in, man.
Oh, that's good.
This is just a
great.
pile of bubble wrap, sir.
All right, well, I think that's gonna do it this week, guys. So peanuts for everybody. And bye.
Excuse me, I'd like to join your world. Admittedly, I don't know if I'm a boy or a girl, but I've got 10 fingers and I've got 10 toes, and I've got a big heart if you just let it grow. I could be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher like you. I could be a fireman, a policeman, save a life here or two. But evict me and you'll never know. 'Cause this womb is not a house, it's my home. It's my home. Then again, I could be a blogger, a lawyer, a rapist like you. I could be a believer, a mother who leaves when you're two. But evict me and you'll never know. 'Cause this womb is not a house, it's my home. Keep that vacuum out of mom's camel toe. 'Cause this womb is not a house, it's my home. It's my